Speaker.
Order. I wish to inform honourable members that under the provisions of Standing Order number 102, I have nominated Dr. Chia Shi Lu and Mr. Alex Yam to be members of the Estimates Committee in place of Mr. Zaki Mohammed and Dr. Tan Wu Ming respectively. The nominations take effect from 9th May 2018. Order. The clerk will now proceed to read the orders of the day.
Item 1, a motion on the address of thanks.
Ms. Cheryl Chan.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to move that the following address in reply to the speech of the President be agreed to. We, the Parliament of the Republic of Singapore, express our thanks to the President for the speech which she delivered on behalf of the government at the opening of the second session of this Parliament. Sir, let me start by saying that I wholeheartedly agree with Madam President that the principal challenge of our times is to work together, government and the people. We are halfway through the current term of government and we have made progress here. A lot done with programs and schemes such as MediShield Life, Smart Nation initiatives, Community Network for Seniors, Industry Transformation Maps, Adapt and Grow for Workers, etc. But we still have a lot more to do. Citizens have expectations of the government to demonstrate leadership in formulating policies that always put the country on a better footing and cares for her people. At the same time, they also want their voices to be heard and for the government to stay connected and remain relevant to the ground. Thus, I want to speak up for different groups of Singaporeans and share my thoughts on how we can do better as an economy, as a society, and as one people, one nation. To begin with, education. It is critical for social mobility, and looking at it from the angle of the students and our parents, I want to share 3 suggestions here. 1, to pilot a true train education to secondary school for special needs students in mainstream schools. Students have different pace of learning and each child blossoms at varying stages of their lives. For special needs children in mainstream school, their challenge is to cope with the same number of subjects using the same course materials and adapting to the pace of regular learning. For some, they indeed struggle with something as basic as taking an additional language or subject. Parents have shared with me that their children with such needs usually are not given exemption from the subjects until the children have proven to consistently fail. This can be very demoralizing for the child who has dyslexia, autism, or attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. It also deters the child in wanting to learn more or do well in other subjects. Yes, it may be a sweeping statement to say all special needs children are late bloomers. But I'm certain no one will deny that these children deserve the opportunity to have a longer runway to learn and explore their potential at the pace that is suitable for them. Second, to de-emphasize academic excellence by including Values in Action Performance, VIA, as a standard school admission criterion. Today, there are no shortage of daily evidences that reflect a lack of good community values and decreasing tolerance amongst people. From road bullies, errant users of shared bikes and personal mobility devices, high-rise litterers, etc., these people have little sense of how their actions impact others and the environment. Values to me are fundamental guiding principles in any individual. Our students can ace through exams, but such achievements do not empower or make them a more purposeful individual. VIA is unlikely to sustain at the current rate unless it is given emphasis in mainstream school admission criterion and not limited to those under the direct school admission. I believe that by knowing how to pay it forward and our relentless search for higher purpose, we can nurture citizens with the spirit of care and giving to others. Let us start to embrace and encourage the sense of responsibility amongst our young by blurring the lines of socio-economic background through valuing their actions towards the community and our country. 3, build soft skills and creativity of students from young. How should we train our students not to be regimental experts in subject matters, but to demonstrate soft skills, the ability to apply and be creative? I feel that the future skills we need to develop in skills future of our next generation is their ability to switch between industries and adjust within changing project needs. Staying relevant and planning for one's career and life must become instinctive in them. We must build their soft skills from young, and to me, this can also help to shape their personalities and resolve when facing challenging situations. Take, for example, the role of an industrial system designer or an industrial system integrator. They have skills that are relevant to multiple industries. While their knowledge of systems, designs, mechanics are fundamental, but more critical are their management skills in integrating projects and people. Next, working Singaporeans. Today, we see growing trends of jobs moving towards the gig economy and remote workers. The pace of change is unpredictable and disruptive. Increasingly, jobs are fulfilled by satellite work groups and regional talents. The competition for workers and jobs are no longer confined by a country's boundary. This game has absolutely changed. The number of workers are no longer defining traits of a business or an economy. Instead, it's the quality of the workers that matters. How well do our workers contribute to their tasks? How do they cite opportunities? Can they collaborate? And the list goes on. The nugget is, can they stand out from the crowd? Growth we have certainly achieved in Singapore, from a fishing village to a modern metropolis, from no industries to many multinational companies and homegrown brands. But will this growth endure the test of time? To me, I think we need to ensure we continue to have a role to play on the regional and global stage. And for this, the government has to try some non-traditional approach. In this regard, I suggest 2 areas of enhancement to aid job matching and to build our homegrown brands. 1, the government to play a greater role in shaping the job matching scene. Having a job data bank like in the past is insufficient. We need proficient actors in the industry to scout the value and the talent within our workers. As traditional hiring processes falls out of favor, it is creating a vacuum and the mismatch in skills and jobs. But I see this as an opportunity for us. The establishment of the Institute for Human Resource Practitioners, IHRP, by the Ministry of Manpower, NTUC, and the Singapore National Employers Federation is a good initiative. And that can actually enable such changes within organizations and professional communities. We should encourage more of such partnerships and raise the bar of our work culture through different professional groups. With the consolidation of mature industries, a vibrant startup scene, and presence of many SMEs, the mergers and acquisitions potential also becomes livelier. This will inevitably impact the pool of workers and freelancers during the management changes, and the lack of HR support is unhealthy. We need proactive steps to ensure progressive job mobility in order to achieve more effective social mobility. Second, create ecosystems and build our Singapore brand. To do so, we must build upon the lustrous track record of Singapore's quality and brand reputation internationally. Take it one step further. Lead and create consortiums made up of more Singapore SMEs to create an industry of our own on the international stage. This can be a paradigm shift of what the government is used to do. We now need to pick the potentials and help build such ecosystems. From developing global trade partnerships, export the skilled workers, processes, and systems, develop the R&D expertise and know-how, to creation of new industries and co-sharing of resources within the industries. Ecosystems that have cross-industries demand and opportunities will give time and opportunity for our students and workers to deepen the skills and develop them into tradescraftsmen of the future. Let me now turn to the vast majority of Singaporeans, from singles, young families, young working adults and seniors. A top concern here is housing. Affordability, choice, capital value, retirement. These are common words associated with the topic on housing. On one hand, we want the government to do more in support through policy measures. At the same time, I believe we still want to instill a sense of responsibility in our people and have them take ownership towards securing their basic needs. Thus, I think it is time for us to include other considerations for the aged HDB flats, and in this I mean flats that's above 50 years of age, and augment the selective en bloc redevelopment scheme. Bearing in mind that these efforts must be taken with a multi-pronged approach, I propose a few areas for consideration. 1. Change the valuation method for aged flats. The challenge the market is facing are twofold. The sellers are having difficulty selling their flats with more options available in the market and a reducing lease. The buyers, on the other hand, find the aged flats priced out of their attainable reach. The fact is, value of any aging leasehold property will be different from a young property regardless of how attractive its location is. Thus, aged flats should not be valued using the current comparison method of past market transactions. I suggest the valuation to be based instead on its remaining lease, the length of time the current owner has occupied the place, and its right-sizing potential. Firstly, this enables the elderly to unlock their cash, right-size, and move to live with their children if they so wish to. Secondly, it enables young families or singles to also afford flats from resale market in mature estates and enhance the social mix. 2. Select precincts from different mature towns for lease top-up by private developers. Given the lack of new land plots in mature estates, it is difficult to effect sales, especially when the flats are built almost over the same time span. As HDB flats are typically built precinct by precinct, so rather than selling new land plots for private property, allow the private developers to top up the land lease of HDB flats for future development. Likewise, the government can convert plots of private condo land for HDB housing in future when its lease is up. This creates a better mix of private and public housing on the long run and allow families to have various home options in different towns at different stages of their life. 3. To allow a direct rental of interim housing from HDB for non-low-income group. For those who do not qualify as low-income group but have needs for interim housing, allow them to rent directly from HDB, only for those selected aged flats with lease that's less than 45 years and of course subject to a cap period. This includes families who have needs for interim housing as they transit, young working adults with little need for a permanent place due to their job nature, the single parents who need immediate shelter after their matrimonial flat is sold off, and so on and so forth. Give them the flexibility and space to manage or rebuild their lives. The next group I wish to speak for is the women. Mr. Speaker, last year in the motion on aspirations of Singapore women, that's mooted by the PAP women MPs, many members in this House have supported and raised good suggestions in the debate on how to assist our women to become active contributors, to be treated fairly as an equal in society, and duly supported to achieve their dreams. I too have spoken on this motion and happy that some of my suggestions have been addressed or being worked on by the ministries. I hope further consideration can be given to the following. 1. Subsidies for non-working mothers with children. The current subsidies given to non-working mothers for infant care, childcare or kindergarten are lower compared to those of working mothers. As we encourage women to return to the workforce and balance their parental duties, can the ministry consider giving equal subsidies for non-working mothers who plan to return to the workforce and remain gainfully employed after their children are placed in the care services? 2. Convert unused medical leave to elder care leave. Family remains an important first line of support for our aging population, as this duty still primarily falls on the shoulders of the women. Those that's coming from a single child family or the main caregiver to the elderly will feel more pressured, balancing work and caregiving. While I understand that the ministries have been studying this topic with the employers and the unions, but I hope they see the request not of one asking for more entitlement and thus inconveniencing the companies. Instead, it is about making a legislative change that allows an individual's existing entitlement to be used for caring of their loved ones. Employers should feel encouraged and incentivized, particularly when the unused medical leave reflect that their employees are in good health and with little work absenteeism. This effort is truly about giving a choice to the employees that they value. 3. Freelance and flexi work. With growing need for part-time work and care services, we should harness the strength of local entrepreneurs and the talent pool of women available in our country. I have previously suggested establishing startup spaces in neighborhoods to enable women to work closer to home or on a part-time basis. Provide spaces in our town hubs to house such entrepreneurial businesses and share platforms for them to create a service industry of its own. Basic services like meal catering, minding of old folks and children at home, home cleaning, laundry, etc., can be catered on demand basis. With proximity and reliable supply of services, it can help ease the burden of working mothers and reduce the cost when it comes to after-school care. And fourth, rooting for women's education and leadership in science, technology, engineering, and math, STEM in short. In today's digital world, it is quite appalling that despite our drive for equality, people can hardly associate women with science and technology. A UN research showed that only 28% of the global researchers in STEM are women in 2016. This is not a number game of ramping figures to parity. It is the dawn of time, a call for change. An impetus to bring new perspectives from women on product design, services, and emotive connections which are seldom considered previously. With widespread technology so closely entwined in our lives, we need to embrace these technologies to achieve the much-needed productivity and innovation. Many of these tools can bring positive outcome for women in helping them balance their many roles in society. Education and careers in STEM should be encouraged amongst females. In Singapore, we are fortunate that every child, male or female, has equal opportunity to receive education from young. But more can be done to enthuse females to continue pursuing roles in non-traditional industries or in male-dominated industries. The current social gap lies in the perception that men are more suited for such jobs because they involve more problem solving and a level of technicality that's historically seen that men have fit better. But the truth is, albeit differences in their minds and behaviors of both genders, it is through pulling such differences that we can create stronger and more cohesive teams. Such acceptance and changes on the long run will lead to more creative thinking and innovation, thus leading to a more fulfilled and satisfied employees and society. Mr. Speaker, I'll continue in Mandarin.
Next, I would like to talk about another very important group and one that is growing in our society, our seniors. Barely 3 months ago in the House, we discussed a motion to support our senior citizens. Given the significance and challenges that may be faced by these seniors, more enhancements were deliberated in Budget 2018. Mr. Hing also announced 3 structural changes in his budget statement to better integrate health and social support services for seniors in the community. The structural changes include a nationwide expansion of community networks for seniors by 2020, the formation of Silver Generation Office, and further consolidation of planning and policy oversight of health and social support services from MSF and to MOH. All these are done in hope that our seniors can age healthily and confidently in place. Based on the current situation, our priority is to help those seniors who are isolated and need assistance the most. Because these seniors live alone and have no family support, most of our efforts are now focused on planning and caring for them. However, to ensure the other seniors are socially integrated and keep fit, I would like to take this opportunity to call out to this generation of seniors to partner us in planning for the future. First, maintain healthy lifestyle. The adage, health is better than wealth, is well known to many. It is ironic that we seem to understand and treasure this more as we age. In fact, prevention is better than cure. As such, we must exercise often to stay fit. So let us take the first active step together. A good start is halfway to success. The National Steps Challenge seems to be a simple and effective platform to get our citizens moving. Hence, I suggest for MOH to consider boosting these efforts by incentivizing Singaporeans through discount on their MediShield Life premiums. For those who actively exercise without medical claims, offer them annual premium discount, as premiums will go up as people age. This incentive can motivate seniors to keep well physically and psychologically. In the long run, this will help relieve the psychological, physical, and financial pressure for them. Second, to encourage the seniors to help each other in the community. We constantly look for volunteers who can provide care and assistance to needy seniors. To me, this initiative is one approach that increases social cohesion. Everyone has a role to play to build a community in which people respect each other. I urge retirees and seniors to give back to the society and help make Singapore an inclusive society. Singaporeans who are keen to be more socially engaged do step forward and help us build a more gracious nation. Third, promote intergenerational programs. Youth and young working adults have many commitments today. For some, to spend quality time with their parents and grandparents have become a luxury. Even so, youth and working adults choose to spend a lot of time on social media. This has become a trend of the modern society. Yet, as digitization is becoming a norm in our daily lives, why can't we be creative and enrich the digital space and create a platform for intergenerational bonding? Just think about it. If each of us can offer half an hour regularly in helping seniors in our own family to learn and navigate the digital world, intergenerational communication would grow exponentially. The seniors will feel safer to be taught in a known environment and from people they trust. And this can greatly improve the learning effectiveness. We can all play a part to create innovative intergenerational programs that is unique to our own family and pass on heritage and values that will make our seniors proud of us.
An area that concerns all Singaporeans, the cost of living. It is natural for anyone to have concerns over necessities. After all, this has direct impact on our lives. Over the years, the government has conscientiously supported our people in mitigating the impact of inflation and rising external costs through different forms of direct subsidies and creating schemes to ensure affordability. While our safety net is a targeted approach, the largest and continued financial support has always been extended to the low-income individuals and households to ensure that they can keep up with the basic needs and not left behind as we progress. But with progression, it is inevitable for an emerging middle class with rising aspirations and growing needs that go beyond necessities. How can the government in reality provide subsidies and grants for the masses without breaking the bank? I believe this will be a difficult path to pursue. If we are to eschew the populist approach, the obvious answer is we can't subsidize for all. So I think we're at a point where we have to differentiate the needs from wants, and how best to support different groups of Singaporeans. To me, this can only be done if the government is able to, 1, keep daily necessities like utilities, food, transport, and healthcare affordable. 2, provide sufficient choices to meet the varied needs. And 3, build a society of giving individuals and corporations. Take utilities and food as an example. It is hard to imagine today for one to live without power, water, or food in a developed country. These are indeed necessities that must be kept within affordable means for any household. There is a need for government to keep the costs low and give direct subsidies for these items. But I think more can be done with a stronger focus on how to channel donations towards beneficiaries and social programs that support giving necessities to those not living in public rental flats. Mr. Speaker, today we live in a world in flux. Challenges abound, but so too opportunities. I'm confident if we continue to work together, government and people in close partnership, we will be able to seize the opportunities and effectively address the challenges, be it income inequality or social mobility, to build an even better tomorrow for ourselves, our children, and future generations of Singaporeans. Last month, in the Forbes 30 Under 30 Asia 2018 edition theme, Disruption and Innovation, 24 individuals from Singapore made it to the list. This list features 300 young disruptors, innovators, and entrepreneurs across Asia who are under the age of 30. And Singapore tied with Japan for the 5th highest number of honorees this year. Many would also have heard of Chloe Chua, 11-year-old violinist, who won the first prize at the prestigious Manuhide competition. I'm sure there are many more awards that other Singaporeans have received and continue to work towards too. If we ever falter and question whether Singapore can make it in future, I would tell you that we do not lack the local talents, but we lack faith. Faith in the next generation and belief that they can do better than us in their own rights and style. Madam President said in the 2017 National Youth Achievement Gold Award ceremony, and I quote her, "A society can only flourish when there's passion, energy, and enthusiasm. Young people are bound with these qualities. Their perspectives of the world would help unearth limitless possibilities that convey a fresh impetus to the development of our nation." Unquote. I fully agree with her. As a country, we can achieve much more when we put steadfast will and efforts together as one. Let us not procrastinate. Show faith and find common grounds as one people. Let us begin our new chapter, lift the dreams of our next generation, and give them the opportunities and possibilities to make Singapore a great country, one that's filled with strength and hope for all. Together, we can and will continue to build a more just, a more inclusive, and a more meaningful society for all Singaporeans. Mr. Speaker, I beg to move.